Welcome to my series called My Thoughts On, where I talk about things I have thoughts on. My name's Amanda or Mandy Mo, and today we will be talking about the part 2 Shane Dawson series, The New Life, New World of Jeffree Star. Alright, first off, I got a new microphone, and I hope it looks a little professional. I just want to look like one of those girlies. You know the girlies that do all the cool social commentaries about why the it girl trend is dead. I want to be her. Hi. I bought one of these to be her. Second, I'm wearing a robe because who else wears a robe? Jeffree. Yes, I'm wearing my Versace robe. Just kidding. I got this at the grocery store. Now, speaking of Versace, this entire video is all about how Mr. Star has 360'd his life. There's even a scene where he no longer has Birkin bags. Well, he no longer has as many Birkin bags. He still has bags, of course. Bags on bags on bags on bags, I think. I don't know. We don't see his closet because we no longer get to see Jeffree Star's house. But if I remember, we will be talking about that later. Right now, let's start at the beginning. Alright, this video starts even further back than the first part of the series. In the last part 1, the video started in 2020, where we were like, wait, what? You're making a new palette? This one starts in 2019. What about that is important? I honestly can't remember. Oh my god, something outside just startled me. I just remember it starting in 2019 and me going like, that's pretty kooky. And moving on with my life. The video continues through them getting ready to go to Casper and Ryland continuing to be Ryland, which I was actually okay with. If this is the first video you're watching of this, and you missed my last one, I'm still iffy on my relationship with Shane because, I don't know, he's a weirdo. You know, he likes cats, maybe a little too much. But I love me some Morgan, and I love me some Ryland. Well, no, okay, love is a strong word for Ryland. I heavy like me some Ryland. I will watch every single video Ryland puts out. So, bada bing, bada boom, I only watch some of the videos Shane does, but all of the videos Ryland does, and rewatch videos Morgan does. If that kind of wraps up my relationship with this family. So, Ryland is continuing to try and find something to wear because he wants to impress. He wants to dress to impress. But he also still wants to remind the world he's gay. So, we go through that. If you don't watch it, you don't get it. That was a funny joke. They finally land in Casper, Wyoming, where I guess the small town has an airport? That shook me. Was not expecting that. And at this airport, everybody being Ryland, Shane, Andrew, Chris, are dressed so flamboyant, so different than everybody else there. Fabulous. Ryland looks fabulous. So then, they briefly mention that Maddie, Jeffree Star's ex-assistant, and Jeffree will be picking them up and taking them to the Star Ranch. In this, Shane is like, oh my god, I forgot what they were talking about. Oh my gosh. The big secret so in the last episode, the big secret is there's a new palette. This episode, it was holding over our head like a little dark secret. What was he gonna say? And Shane was like, oh my god, this is so crazy. I can't believe Jeffree told me this. Like, I can't tell you guys because it's too kooky. Like, I can't tell you. It has to come from him. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, Jeffree's quitting YouTube. 1000%. I was like, there's nothing else it could be. Like, why is Shane acting so dramatic? Like, oh, he could never, it will never continue without him. Sure enough, that's what I forgot to mention to you, is there is this secret over our head the first 20 minutes of this video, of this like 55-minute video, and that secret is Jeffree Star is quitting YouTube. Shocker? I think not. No, I honestly don't see it so much as a shocker. Jeffree mentions this later on in the video that, hey, I don't get that many views anymore. He was like, an old video of Shane and I going to Walmart used to get 30 million views. Now he gets dolled up and freaking spends his entire life savings on trying to do a makeup palette review, and it doesn't even like break a million, like barely breaks a million. And he's like, embarrassing, am I right? Like, having a video that barely breaks a million? Psh, I could never. But I get what he's saying in this. Like, jokes aside on my part, the effort isn't worth the outcome in his mind. Jeffree is spending all of his time, his effort in this new yak business. He's excited about this yak business. He's doing okay on TikTok as well. I mean, he's getting like 21 million views on there occasionally, but like, does TikTok pay as well as YouTube does? No. I'm pretty sure their creator fund is not as great. Oh my god, is my hair I just took a shower and it's drying. TikTok's creator fund probably is not as great as YouTube's fund. So, Jeffree's quitting YouTube. He's got 2 more videos left. I believe it was this circus one that he just released that I was talking about in my last video, and I think a goodbye video. Let's continue. So they get done at the airport, and they get inside of, Jeffree has to show off a new vehicle. They get inside of like an eco Hummer, or a Hummer truck, some eco Hummer truck, and Jeffree pulls out a gun. Who is this man? He's just like, you gotta be strapped and packed, you know what I mean? And pulls out a gun. The amount of guns I saw in this video, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he had some okay gun safety. He was telling Shane the correct stuff. It was just, I mean, he was telling Shane, hey, don't point this at anyone, and hey, don't pull the trigger. But, jokes aside, again, he lives out in the middle of nowhere, Jeffree. I used to live out in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. And in Nevada, you wouldn't believe it, people go out in the desert and just shoot. They just shoot targets, they shoot, they practice their shooting. And I know 1000%, this is not defamatory, but I know, just because common sense, that's probably what Jeffree does too. He probably goes out in his 600 acres that he bought and shoots his guns. Like, that is probably what happens, which, whatever. America. So, they're driving back to Jeffree Star's house, and in these conversations, they're talking about, like, hey, no jokes or anything, but, like, you can't film my house. And Shane's like, what? And he's like, I have kind of like a filming area, but my house is now my sanctuary. Like, it's not like before where I film it all the time. Like, I just want this to be like my space. This is my space for me. Which I think is odd, unless the Star Ranch wasn't his house, because when we eventually got to the house, Chris was filming everything he could. He filmed the TV at one point, and at one point, Jeffree Star had been watching The Hobbit. I saw frickin' Bilbo Baggins' little fluffy head pop up on a TV, and I said, now wait a minute. Now wait a darn minute. That's Bilbo Baggins. I was like, what is this chaos? And I'm just gonna say this. This is the most fun I've ever seen Jeffree. he was fun to just watch. He was just funny. And he was probably putting on a show for the camera, but he was fun. Is this on? Oh my God, could you imagine if this was off? He was fun to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed 99% of what came out of Jeffree's mouth. I don't think I've ever really realized how witty he was. And if this series, conspiracy theory number 1, this series is supposed to do, oh, I have my retainer in, by the way. This series is supposed to do what the previous one did and rebrand Mr. Star. And it's doing a good job because I'm falling for him all over again. No. Does anybody remember those weird allegations that one of his friends had on TikTok that like went to his house and it was like super weird? And like they're like, you wouldn't believe what was happening behind the scenes. Sorry, I just remember seeing that on Spill Sesh, my favorite drama channel. Shout her out. Go visit her if you need some stuff, some drama to fill your life. But I just remember that like happening, and don't sue me, Jeffree. I have literally no money. Okay. And I'm a fan, I think. I'm more of a fan of Jeffree at this point than I am of Shane. Well, okay, sidebar. I did check out Jeffree's channel after he oh my God, who am I? Oh well, I'll continue that statement. After he told me that his channel was dying. And he's right. I went to look at those videos, I was like, okay, baby, like, what are you putting out there? Trash. It's absolute trash. It's like palette review, something else, and he hadn't had a video pop off in like a year and a half, 2 years. And when I went back, like, I was like, I'm sure he was canceled, you know? So that could be why too. And then it was like, all of a sudden, I saw what he was coming from. It was like 20 million views, 10 million views, 30 million views, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. I couldn't believe it. I was like, where did all of these people go? TikTok? Are they like all on TikTok right now? Like, where are the people? Where are the 30 million people that are watching that had been watching Jeffree Star? And he's not the only one. This is a YouTube sidebar, and at some point I'd like to make my thoughts on YouTube in general, but I'll add on to this. Let me put a little on it. Nobody's getting the same views they used to. Like, when I look at people, and I'm not talking about like freaking James who barely breaks a couple mil. I'm talking about like Alicia Marie, Laura DIY, like Remy Ashton, like those girlies too, like the lifestyle girlies. Do you know who's getting a lot of views besides Ryan Trahan and Mr. Beast? Like Curtis Connor. I was very, okay, not like 10 million views, but like a good 4. Like a good 4 million. So I just found that in itself very interesting, the culture of where YouTube is going right now. Like where is it? Is it let me finish this thought and then I'll go back to the show. Is the culture of YouTube right now, so there's just so many channels that everybody's just so spread out. It's not as concise anymore. So it's just all spread out, and that's where everybody's at. But then you look at these videos like Mr. Beast, and he'll have like 90 million views. That might be exaggeratory, but I don't think it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll have a lot of views. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, all right, now we're at the Star Ranch, where Jeffree overall is just talking he's talking about how his life is just different than how it was in LA. And I was actually underwhelmed by this episode. It went by so fast. So I don't know if that's underwhelming or if that just means it was so good I didn't realize how fast 55 minutes passed. Like, was I because I was thoroughly enjoying it. I was just like, okay, like get to the palette review. Like, let me see it, pull it out. But this chapter, which is the new life or new world of Jeffree Star, was not about the palette. It was about the new life of Jeffree Star. So it was about him selling. He sold his $20 million house, bought this one currently that he has in Casper that's about, I'll say like 100 million. Oh my gosh, about $1 million. And then he bought 600 acres, which is about like another couple million. And then he went ahead and he got rid of all his material belongings. Jeffree said something along the lines of, he came from rags to riches. And in those riches, he wanted to prove his riches. His bags, one was $300,000. This diamond Birkin that he had. And he just sold it. I don't know if he sold that one, but he sold his other ones that at one point in time had been assumed to all cost around $7 million. Sorry, my brain was just buffering. Like, I was like, what am I gonna say? Because I don't have a script and I'm just going this whole thing off memory, but you didn't need to know that. Word vomit before bed, you know what I mean? Okay, so he sold all his belongings. His rich belongings. He didn't seem to sell his cars though. Maybe he sold some of them, but he did still have a fairly big car collection down at the garage. We haven't touched or pet any of the yaks yet. What else happened? This is what I'm saying is the video itself was pretty unremarkable. Not in a bad way, Shane. That's not to be taken in an offensive way. It was still very dramatic. Shane has this, I said in my last video I'd talk about his editing style, but I didn't end up talking about his editing style. So in this video I'll talk about his editing style. It's the same as 2019. Very like conspiracy. Sorry, I'm looking down to see if my computer's dying yet because it's not plugged in. Very conspiracy music, like dun dun dun. And like I can feel my heart racing when something's about to get said, and I start getting a little scared. And I'm a little baby when it comes to stuff like that. And it's just kind of like, all right, guy, like just spit it out. Like get a new editing style, filming style. It's still got this one, like the zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, you know? And then Shane will be like, yeah, you know what else can't fit through the door? Me. Like, he'll say stuff like that. Or like, I'm deceased. No, literally, hit me with a truck. Hit me with your eco Hummer. No, he'll say stuff like that, though. And so that filming aspect, the editing aspect, the cutting back and forth through time, it's not so much a linear video. It does, like, you get what I mean. Rylan was actually a little more charismatic in this video than he is really in his own videos. And it's probably because it's from Shane. And like, almost a guest filmer in a way. Like when you're on someone else's video, you're like more giddy, more fun, more like, here's a joke I might not say. When on Rylan's own vlogs, he's very like, hey, what's up, you guys? And then he'll say like, today we're just gonna get coffee or whatever, you know? So he was funny. Rylan was fun to watch in this video. And Shane was okay to watch. Chris, you don't see him at all. What else happened? I don't want to miss like some monumental thing that happened. This is where I should have wrote a script, but if I don't remember what happened, was that even important? You better expect more singing, cause now I have a microphone. Oh, this has nothing to really do about this video, but in the last video, I had a conspiracy that all of this was to really amplify Jeffree Star's new palette coming out called circus. And I was like, I have no idea how many pallets Jeffree has come out since conspiracy theory. Like, what? Okay, I was so wrong. It could be to shed some more light on Jeffree and be like, what, Jeffree's quitting? 30 million views. You know, something like that. And now he doesn't quit. But no, Jeffree has come out with like 30 pallets. Like 30 pallets since this freaking conspiracy palette. So I was just so wrong. I was so wrong in that regard. Oh my god, my shadow. Hey girl, high five. But, and then, it was kind of odd because the first part of this video was so heavy. Like part 1, the secret life or whatever, the canceled life of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, was so heavy on the palette. And so heavy, not so much on his cancellation, a little bit of on his cancellation, but a little more heavy on the palette. Or maybe I just had tunnel vision on this palette. But this video mentioned the palette 1 time, 2 times, and it was very heavy on a new life of Jeffree Star, and that he's doing yaks now, that the yak jerky business is unbelievably better than his makeup business, which, you know what, good for you. And how he's being served in restaurants, and comment below if you want me to order some Jeffree Star yak jerky and give it a try and see if it is worth the bargain. I don't know how much it is, so I don't even know if it's a bargain. But, I just popped my nose. So I did find that very odd. So it seems like it could have been a little heavier on the canceled portion in the first part. This part was okay. It did talk a lot about Jeffree's new life. And then the next part should have been like, boom, palette. Like it could have been hinting, like his editing. Okay, this is a note for you, Shane, so please write it down. Part 1 should have been very heavy, literally me repeating exactly what I just said. Part 1, heavy on your cancellation. Finally address it. Part 2, heavy on Jeff's new life. And part 3, baby, we came out with another palette and you're never gonna get to see it. No, you know what I mean? Something like that. But the whole time hinting about this palette, like that can be the connector of all 3, which I think he tried to do, and maybe I just had such tunnel vision that, I just never saw it. So, honestly, I think that's it. Like, this video had little to say and little thoughts on my part, because Jeffree was fun to watch. You know what's funny is he seems like a completely different person than he was in Los Angeles, and yet the same exact person, if that makes sense. Like, he seems like in LA he would have been like, no, you can't have no guns will kill you. And then like to the world, and then like in his own private life he'd have like guns at his house. But here he's just like, I'm me, I'm myself, I'm whatever, and he just has them out in the open. So whatever. So it just seems like he's more authentically himself now, which, whatever. You know what, just do you. If you're not hurting anyone, just do you. I think that's it. So my overall thoughts for the second part of this new Shane Dawson. This is for YouTube to catch it, because I think YouTube listens. Oh my god. Conspiracy theory that has nothing to do with this. I believe YouTube listens to the video, and when you say something that it, I sound crazy. It promotes your video on other people's videos based off of some of the things you say. I've noticed that because I said a couple stuff and I got promoted on those types of videos that I was talking about, which I found very interesting because there was no reason for me to be on those videos except I mentioned stuff. So that could be in my other video. Sorry. Overall, this was, like I said, an unremarkable video. I did enjoy it though. I just wanted it to be longer because it went by so fast. So I don't know what that is saying. If you thought of anything else that I forgot, please write it below. This is no hate on Shane, on Rylan, on Jeff, on Frick. What his assistant's name? I said it earlier. Mackenzie. I'm so sorry. I forgot her name. And of course, go watch Morgan Adams, even though she's not in this video. Like, where you at, girl? Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!